Good evening, everyone. This is a long time coming, 2 years in the making, and it's beautiful to see you all here. My name is Nicole Hewitt Cabral. I'm the Chief Sustainability Officer for the City of Newark, and wanted to welcome you here to our first Brought to the Table event celebrating sustainable food systems in the City of Newark. So we're going to kick off this event with some words, some remarks from our Mayor, Ras J. Baraka.
Let's give it up for Nicole, please. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, y'all, come on. It's a thankless job, and sometimes you could become in the bullseye of many different people, developers, all kind of folks in the city, because she's trying to make sure that the things that we do are sustainable, that environmentally sustainable, so that we don't live in a city where we have the heat island is the worst in the nation, where we don't have all this impervious surface, where because of building there's not a lot of flooding. But most importantly today, or the particulate matter that's in the air because of our relationship to the port, but food sustainability is incredibly important. And it's incredibly important for us to talk about it right now in this holiday season. And people always look at the holidays as a cheerful time of year, but as the mayor have found out that a lot goes on in cities like Newark during the holiday season because there's a lot of depression, right? There's a lot of depression around not being able to enjoy the holidays like everybody else enjoys the holidays. Not being able to get gifts, or not being able to have food at your table during Thanksgiving, or invite your families over. So those things cause serious levels of depression, and we find ourselves responding to those things at times like this. I don't know if we know it or not, New Jersey has identified 50 places as food deserts in the state. And sometimes we think the place is a food desert simply because it doesn't have a supermarket. That's not necessarily the truth, right? There are places that are food deserts and they might live across the street from a supermarket, but because the supermarket is too costly, it's still a food desert for them because they can't get food from there or fresh produce. And I was somewhere else talking to a few business people about food deserts, and they kept referring to Newark and Camden and Trenton. And I had to remind them that Paulsboro, Vineland, Pennsauken, Woodbine, that these are food deserts in New Jersey, that there are places in New Jersey, in Sussex County, and Phillipsburg, right? And in Warren County and Sussex County as well. There are food deserts all the way down in Cumberland County. In areas where there's farms in New Jersey, there's actually food deserts in places where farms exist, because we have not been successful at being able to transport food or produce to people's communities and places where they need it the most. Thank God for food banks. Right? Thank God for all of the small organizations and nonprofits that deliver food and produce and all of the refrigerated places that people come up with, UCC and all of the folks that are doing these incredibly innovative things. Thank God for you, because if you didn't exist, it would be worse than what we are now, right? Thank God for all those organizations who see the necessity of providing food service. The problem is we're not funding that in a way that it becomes sustainable, as we talk about sustainability, sustainable or big enough so people can enjoy the food and the produce that exists in the Garden State. Right, so which really is like an oxymoron, right? You're in a Garden State and you're starving. Like being locked in a supermarket and starved to death, right? But the reality is, with work that Nicole is doing and all of you guys are doing together and collectively, you're taking care of folks that are overlooked over and over again. And whether they speak for themselves or not, the data speaks for them. The data is clear that we need to drive food and produce into people's communities, and we need to do it as quickly as we possibly can. And the data also says that government has failed and cannot do it alone. That we need nonprofit organizations and small organizations and mid-sized and even large organizations that are not, either affiliated with the government or affiliated in the private sector, to begin to join together and finance organizations to do the work that we fail to do. And how about the urban farmers that's in the building? How about the urban farmers that's making sure people have produce across the street from their house? Now that's super dope, right? And so we need to make sure that we can grow that to a point where we're providing food and produce to communities and neighborhoods and blocks in a sustainable, a self-sustainable way, so we don't have to always depend on ShopRite. No dig on ShopRite. I like the people at ShopRite. They bought me some cookies today. Shout out to ShopRite. But at the end of the day, we need to be able to be self-sustaining so that we can produce food in our own communities, right, and feed folks who need the food in our neighborhoods. Food deserts are real. Food insecurity is real. I noticed growing up in this town, in this community, I sit on the front porch of what food insecurity looks like every single day, as a teacher, as a vice principal, as a principal, as the mayor of the city, or as my kids say, the principal of the city, right? That I see what food insecurity looks like. So I just want to thank you, say Merry Christmas to all of you guys, Happy Holidays to those of you who don't celebrate Christmas, Happy New Year, and I pray that you get to 2025 2 whole weeks before the devil finds out you there. God bless you.
So for me, I want to begin by expressing my gratitude to Mayor Ross Baraka, whose vision and leadership was integral to shaping the Office of Sustainability, Sustainable Food Systems work. So I don't know if you all know, this was actually before my time with the Office of Sustainability, we received ARPA funding to help us recover during the pandemic. And Mayor Baraka decided to take a part of that funding and enable the Office of Sustainability in the City of Newark to re-grant that to organizations doing this work on the ground. So this evening is really just a celebration of the fruit of your labor, literal labor, but also that vision that many folks in that position wouldn't necessarily think to. Let's set that aside and make sure that folks that need it the most get that funding so that they can do the work that's important to take us out of the pandemic and move us forward. So thank you, Mayor Baraka. I also want to thank and acknowledge Councilwoman Roundtree for here supporting our work, always supporting our work. Just even your presence here is a testament to your commitment to the well-being of Newarkers and the values of sustainability, equity, and resilience. So thank you again. I want to thank the Devil's Youth Foundation for co-sponsoring this event and providing us with this beautiful space. I also want to extend my thanks to our urban farmers, community advocates, and residents who have been the vital partners in the shared vision towards sustainability and food justice. So, round of applause for you all. And finally, I want to thank my amazing Office of Sustainability team and our dual co-chief of staffs that are always at our sides. Yes. So for me, as a Chief Sustainability Officer for the City of Newark, I'm deeply committed to the vision of a greener, more sustainable, healthier Newark. Our city has made significant strides in urban farming, waste reduction, and creating equitable access to healthy food options. Tonight's event is a reflection of our collective efforts to uplift Newark's urban farming community and recognize the critical role it plays in shaping our city's food culture and economy. Food sovereignty is the foundation of our city. We are on the traditional land of the Lenni Lenape people, who call this land Lenni Lenape Hoking. As the original caretakers of these lands and waters, the Lenni Lenape people practice small-scale farming, focusing on the 3 sister crops of maize, beans, and squash. They also hunted deer, fowl, they fished, collect shellfish, and foraged local vegetation, including groundnut, wapato, Jerusalem, artichokes, and amongst others. And although we tend to think of ourselves in Newark as being known more for our industrial past, Newark actually has a rich history of farming. In fact, the site of the Weequahic Park was once the site of Lyons Farm. Old Newark Market was on Broad and Mulberry, and there was a market at Down Neck. where the importance of community centers for local farmers, where they brought their produce, local hucksters sold that produce, and residents purchased locally grown food. Even today, many residents have memories of backyard gardens and fruit trees on their own properties where they actually grew their own nourishing food to sustain their families. We currently have a patchwork of community gardens, fresh corner stores. I went to one in the West Ward, which was a community garden that they called a corner store, which is beautiful. We have farmers markets, we have pop-up stands, CSAs, food co-ops. For me, I've only been in this position for 10 months, almost to the day, and I've had the honor of seeing many of these projects and many more of the Nourishing Newark projects in action. So, for example, just last week, I went to Men's, a food pantry that Mend helped sustain on Rutgers Newark's campus, where I saw students, really having access to fresh food where they wouldn't have been able to have access without Men's support. A year or 2 years ago, I visited La Casa de Don Pedro's farmers market. I was a frequent visitor. I just would come in and just speak with farmers at the Greater Newark Conservancy's Plotted Fresh program. I am a staple at Newark Science and Sustainability's citywide garden tour. And just recently, I was at the grand opening of Clinton Hills Community Actions, our community grocery store. But this work cannot happen in isolation. As we celebrate tonight, I urge each of you, our electeds, community advocates, residents, to remain steadfast in your support for policies and initiatives that enhance sustainability and food security in Newark. Whether it's championing green legislation, supporting local farms, or participating in our sustainability programs, we all have a role to play in building a healthier, more sustainable Newark. Together, we have the power to transform our city into a national model for sustainability and food equity. Let us continue to work hand in hand and make that vision a reality. Thank you all for your commitment, your partnership, your belief in the potential of Newark. Let us celebrate the progress we've made and look forward to the work that lies ahead. And of course, enjoy this evening as we honor our urban farming community and vibrant food culture that makes Newark so special. So thank you all. And next, I want to bring to the stage Yaquana Williams, our Sustainable Food Systems Program Manager, who made all of this happen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Brought to the Table. My name is Yaquana Williams, and I am the Sustainable Food Systems Program Manager here at the City of Newark. And I would first like to start by recognizing the people who've helped pave the way for me to be here, my family. I want to give thanks to my mother, my grandmother, my aunt, my uncle who are in the room. I also want to extend my gratitude to the Honorable Mayor Rajay Baraka. Thank you for all of your support. To the city council members, congressional leaders, and community stakeholders, your advocacy for sustainable and equitable food systems in Newark has paved the way for events like this to happen and many transformative initiatives across our city. I also would like to give a special gratitude to my team. And a special thank you to Nicole Hewitt-Cabral, our Chief Sustainability Officer. The dedication, hard work, and vision are what makes events like this possible and drive the progress we're making towards a more sustainable Newark. I also would like to give a thank you to the Prudential Center for graciously hosting us tonight and providing a space where we can come together as a community to celebrate this important work. And lastly, I would like to acknowledge the native land we are here gathered on today. This land has a history and a story that extends far beyond us. It has nurtured and sustained life for centuries, and we honor its significance as we work towards a future of food justice and sustainability. Being raised here in Newark, I've always been deeply connected to this city. Newark isn't just where I'm from, it's the place that shapes my values and my passions for food justice. This evening's event, brought to the table, is inspired by the incredible people who work tirelessly to grow, distribute, and advocate for fresh, healthy food in our city. It's about celebrating Newark's urban farming community and recognizing their contributions to sustainability, culture, and resilience. As we celebrate tonight, let's remember that the work we're doing is about building a sustainable future for Newark. A future where everyone has access to fresh, local food, and where our urban farms thrive as hubs of community and innovation. This event tonight is also to showcase the work of organizations working to provide fresh, nourishing foods to community members, our Nourish in Newark grantees. These organizations have helped to create sustainable food systems and address food insecurity across our city. The Nourish in Newark Grants Program was launched as a part of our city's commitment to building a more sustainable, equitable, and resilient food system. Through this program, there's been support of local food cooperatives and businesses that provide healthy, sustainable food and provide equitable access to these resources. We're here not just to talk about food, but to honor its role in our lives, how it connects us to our history, shapes our culture, and can be a powerful tool for justice and change. Land work is everything to me. It is foundational to our community's well-being, to our environmental health, and to our food system. At the heart of this event and everything I do is the belief that food justice is more than simply access to food. It's about the power to grow, cultivate, and share food that nourishes our communities and strengthens our relationships to the land. It's about reasserting our sovereignty over what we eat, where it comes from, and how it's grown. Food sovereignty to me means that communities, especially communities like Newark's, we have the right to define our own food systems. We reclaim our connection to the land, making sure that those most affected by food insecurity are at the center of solutions. As you enjoy this event tonight, I encourage everyone to engage with the food for thought questions at your table. These are meant to spark reflection, conversation, and collaboration around how we can work together to achieve our vision for food justice and sovereignty. Let's keep this dialogue alive, not just tonight, but every day in our communities. Before I end, I want to take a moment to honor the elders in this space, those who have walked before us, paved the way, and who continue to inspire us with their wisdom and experience. Elders in age, elders in knowledge, elders in spirit, you are our living history and a source of strength. A special shout out to my grandma who's here. Miss Betty Crockett. And all of the elders in the space. Your contributions to our community and your unwavering dedication are deeply appreciated. Thank you for showing us what resilience, care, and leadership looks like. I now want to welcome Miss Ginger Garrett, someone who I met and immediately was like, wow, her energy, knowledge, and passion. She is an artist, a massage therapist, a master gardener, an aromatherapist, and so much more. Please welcome her.
How's everybody doing? I was really surprised and I'm honored to be here. My name is Ginger Crystal Garrett and I am a master gardener. I grow food and some flowers. So my former job was as the Plot of First coordinator for the Greater Newark Conservancy. In that position, I was responsible for planning activities within the garden. So from July through October 26th, every Tuesday we had yoga Tuesdays. Every Friday we had exercise in the garden. Every Saturday we had art in the garden. And every third Saturday we hired a chef. I hired a chef who I would purchase the food. He's making music over there. I would purchase the food, and the chef would cook the food, bring it to the garden, and we would share it with our garden community. My saddest part of being in the garden was knowing that at the end of November, that the garden would no longer be there. It was going to be replaced with a school. And I still think about, I was looking at pictures of the garden the other day, and it just brought me to tears because this sacred garden space, this sacred farm space is going to be replaced. And we have to accept what is. Now, I was asked to talk about my experience with food in Newark. I grew up in Newark. I'm a child of the riots. My mother used to take me shopping. We used to go shopping on Bergen Street, on Clinton Avenue, and we went shopping on Marbury Street. Does anybody remember shopping on Marbury Street? We had all the farmer markets, you had the fish markets, you had the produce markets. So this is where we went every Saturday. We also, do you remember going to the drive-in theater? The drive-in down in the neck in Newark? But on the way, along the waterfront, you had stores like, that's the only one I remember, Caruso's. And we would go there and we would get our hot dogs and our hamburgers and our French fries, and we would have that food before we went to the drive-in. You remember that? Yeah. Yes. So I am a product of Newark. I was born, raised, and educated in Newark. I'm a graduate of Arts High School, the first class to graduate in theater. And I was asked to talk about my legacy. Last year, my cousin has a garden called Treehouse Cares. And last year, we did a partnership. It was like an intergenerational partnership. We had elderly, and we got children from a local daycare to come together. We wanted the energy of the youth to energize the elderly people. We wanted the wisdom of the elderly people to share with the young people from this daycare. And what really, really inspired me is that after we planted the flowers and we planted the food, one little person, he looked like he was maybe 5 or 6, he said, "I am a gardener." And so if all of us can take and embrace one young person and teach them something of what we know. You do the herbs, I do the aromatherapy, and a whole bunch of other things. But if we can embrace and teach our young people what we know, then they can pass that tradition on. Now, our people, my mother's family and my father's family is from Georgia. Our people had farms in the South. Some of them were run from the South because of racism, and some of them left to come up here for a better opportunity. But we have to remember where we came from. We came from the land. We grew our own food. We didn't have to rely on the supermarkets, because today the food that we're getting is not real food. It's fake food. You have fake meat. It's poison. There are 10 ingredients. There are 10 foods. If you Google 10 foods that is sold in the United States and not allowed in other countries, you will be shocked. So we have to grow our own food. We have to sustain ourselves, and we have to be healthy. You grow your onions. It helps the mucus. You grow your garlic. It helps with your immune system. You grow your herbs. It will keep you healthy. So my charge to everyone in this room is to pool your money together and buy your land, so you don't have to worry about being kicked off your $1 a year space. I've been privy to quite a few gardeners who had gardens, and once Someone purchased it, they're just kicked off the land. No notification, and all of the work that they've done for many years is just gone. So we have to pool our money together and grow our own food on our own space so we don't have to be told when to leave. Thank you so much.
Okay, so earlier I mentioned that a number of our grantees of the Nourish North program are in the room. There are poster boards that are standing right there, all along the wall. So after this, I would love for folks to come and meet and greet the grantees, talk about the work that they do, learn more about the amazing work that's being done in the city towards food access, food sovereignty. Please talk, please chat. There's also food in the back if you haven't eaten yet. I encourage everyone to eat. I encourage everyone to enjoy. And thank you again for coming. I feel very grateful, and I hope that you enjoy this night. Thank you.